Hello and welcome to Sweet Views at Your Side, a romance slash mystery otome game developed by Idea Factory for the PSP. And basically, I've seen this game compared to Danganronpa, actually, one of my favorite game series of all time, and so it's kind of like a visual novel-esque type of game with some other gameplay elements mixed in. And that sounds interesting, right? Because, I feel like there's just not a lot of games like Danganronpa out there, so I want to see what this is all about. I guess the main difference is the fact that it's a otome game, so it's mostly husbandos. That's fine. Let's new game. I want to get to the meat of the game. Let's see if it's any good, maybe see if the story's any good. I do know that it's a bit of a lighter tone than Danganronpa, as far as I know, but I don't really know though, because I never played this game. Let's check it out. Is it morning already? Yawn. I guess I fell asleep after all. Ah, shut up, alarm. Much better. Well, Uncle, I hope you're ready. I wonder how much his voice... I think, just like a lot of, visual novels, it tends to be that the romantic interests tend to be voiced. But I don't know how much voice there is in this game. My uncle is the creator of a new theme park called the Gameatorium. Yes. He invited me to the pre-opening event, but I've been so excited and restless I barely slept. Alright, Kane de Boo. Let's hope it goes well. Kane de Boo. I also kept, by the way, well, I kind of already skipped it, but I kept the name by default, I guess. Just kept it Saki, Because why not? This little guy is called Kane de Boo. Or is it Kane de Boo or Kane de Boo? I don't know. And he's the Gameatorium's mascot. My uncle gave him to me a while back. He's super adorable. Is he? I don't know. But more importantly, he looks like a rice ball. And rice balls are delicious. Yes, only kidding. Anyway, I got off bed as fast as I could. I had big plans for my day at the park. I wish I could bring some of my friends, but the invite said it was just for staff and their relatives. Oh well, I'm sure I can have lots of fun all by myself. Alright, time to get dressed. Gosh, I can't believe it's actually really finally opening. I guess he was telling the truth. My uncle is Keiji Inafune, a game creator known throughout the universe. Is he? Keiji Inafune. Is that a real person, actually? I don't know. He'd been telling me for years that his dream was to make a theme park from all his favorite games. Wow. You can do that?
Saki, おじさんはいつかテーマパークを作る。それもテレビゲームを題材にしたやつだ。
Ah yes, so here's some voice acting.
お前も思うだろう。テレビゲームの中のヒーローやヒロインに会ってみたい。あんなところに行ってみたいってさ。
I don't remember. Did I change the setting? Because probably there is English voice acting. I probably changed it to Japanese because obviously I'm a weeb. Even before playing the game, I just changed it to Japanese probably. I don't remember. Just blacked out and went to the options and maybe changed it to Japanese. I don't know. It's not that surprising he did it, really. He's always making his dreams into reality, and video games are a pretty big deal these days. I am playing a video game right now. Every single thing at the park is based on a popular game. Ah, this is my stop. I sure hope nothing bad happens today. The whole premise of this game is that something bad will happen, by the way. Spoilers. I made my way out of the busy station and walked quickly toward the park, excitement putting a spring in my step. This is it. This is the Gameatorium. Wow. The only people who'd been allowed in were staff members, their families, and some news crews, but even so, the place was packed. Aha! Looks like that seat's open. We smiled at each other as I sat down the empty seat. I could see a number of older men in suits sitting on the stage in the front. I figured they must have been the park's managers and owners. And from the stage was a whole row of cameras. They had to belong to the press. It's really getting a lot of attention, huh? I saw a story about how the game of tournament was about to open on TV just the other day. I was still looking around excitedly when I heard a drum roll start up. It sounded like things were about to start. From somewhere near the stage, I could hear a band begin to play. This is it. It's finally starting. Is that Keiji? Actually, the art style reminds me more of Phoenix Wright. I don't know if they had the same artist. But that's him. That's my uncle. I almost leapt up to wave at him before I caught myself. I think he's real. I think Keiji Inafune is a real person. I might be wrong though. I'm not entirely sure. There's something wrong with the mic. I can't hear him. He stepped back from the mic, confused, and tapped it a couple times. Tap, tap. I tapped my own pop filter. I hope everything's okay. I was starting to fidget when suddenly... Uh-oh. What? What is this? I could see my uncle running back and forth in confusion. What the heck is going on? Who is that voice? What were they talking about? Something was wrong. Even from far away, I could see that the men in suits all looked very stiff. I turned toward where he was pointing. What? Okay. A crowd of people in what looked like black unitards were running through the entrance, making weird hand gestures. Of course, that would make sense. My uncle has always been good at thinking up fun stuff. He's got a great sense of humor. The guys in unitards ran up to the stage and started tying up the men in business suits. I couldn't begin to guess what was going to happen next, so I just kept watching with bated breath. Yeah, Kanedebu is how they pronounce it. Kanedebu. The same mascot I had on my phone strap. I wasn't sure what he meant by doing away with Kanedebu. Did that mean the park was going to close? Gosh, Uncle Keiji, you sure think of some weird stuff. As probably these are just actual criminals and you're tying everyone up, and this is not a joke. Everyone is just like, it's all part of the show. Everyone seems stunned that the park's mascot would be done away with on the first day. Looking at how worked up the audience has gotten, I was sure my uncle was feeling pretty proud of himself. But suddenly, smoke filled the stage, and I could barely make out something rising up from below it. A pig with a cigar. What is that? A costume? It looked a little like Kanedebu, but it was different. Ha ha ha, everyone laughed. I had to stifle a laugh. His voice didn't match up with his costume at all. He performed an odd sort of self-indulgent pirouette and bowed. Kaboom! And then everyone died. The end. Huh? No sooner had he spoken than the Ferris wheel exploded in a thunderous roar of flames. We watched, mouths hanging open, as the symbol of the park crumpled to the ground in a cloud of smoke. Not crumpled? Crumbled? I'm starting to think maybe this isn't just an act. Maybe. What tipped you off? As soon as I turned back to the stage, the entire crowd erupted in panic. The screams of frightened people quickly drown out the fading rumble of the Ferris wheel's collapse. What? The pig isn't done yet? Don't forget about him, I have to save Uncle Keiji. I fought my way through hundreds of terrified attendees toward the stage. Even as I did, Count Hogstein continued his stupid speech. Oh boy. Boop, 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 boop. That's what it reminds me of. What? Blow up the park? What the hell are you talking about? Taking my uncle and the park staff hostages in the game, you jerk. You big old jerk. This park is my uncle's dream, and there are so many people looking forward to enjoying it. What should I do? Right. Hey, hold on! Everybody else was trying desperately to escape, but I raised my hand high in the air. Count Hogstein frowned. I'll take your challenge. Okay, sure, we'll just play right into their game. I don't really know what his game is, but if I'm being honest, this is pretty scary, but thanks to Uncle Keiji, I've gotten pretty good at figuring out game logic. I'm like, she's a real gamer. What a gamer. Count Hogstein stared at me for a moment, then snorted. Finally, her gamer skills will be applied in real life. I know what I'm doing. I stole a quick glance at my uncle, tied up and gagged. He looked worried. I gave him the slightest of nods, careful not to let Count Hogstein notice. I can't let this park get blown up by that creep. I'll solve his stupid puzzles and I'll save my uncle. This just reminds me of Professor Layton. How about like calling the cops? No? There wouldn't be a game, I guess. If we just simply call the cops. Stage 1. There's Saki. I think her hair, by the way, is supposed to represent like a bomb. I don't know, we'll see. I don't know if we see her sprite. Because we're playing as her from POV, so... don't get to actually see her sprite all that often. Well, they told all the participants to come to this plaza, so here I am. There you go. And somehow all the other participants are men. Conveniently, in this Otome game. I see 6 other people. Count Hogstein had mentioned 7 heroes, which means the other 6 people there were probably the other participants. That's unfortunate there's no Yuri route, but anyway. That voice, it's him. Okay. That's weird. Lipstick is a little weird.
しかし、声はすれども姿が見えませんね。一体どこから。あそこだ。あの像の裏から声が聞こえる。
Introducing all of the husbandos. A statue. Oh, I see it. It's right there in front of us. There's a TV on his back that's showing Count Hogstein, but the statue is. Haha, you got that right. Well, at least he realizes he's the antagonist. And now he's gone.
自由奔放な方ですね。
雑談タイムって言われてもさ、本当に自己紹介とかするの？
You know, all these voice actors are so familiar. I don't know if it's like the same. I don't know. I always mix up my voice actors though. Sometimes the voices just sound similar, but they're not actually the voice actor. But I don't know. All these voice actors so similar.
魔王への旅を共にするとなりゃ、名前が必要になるのは確かだな。
Not similar, familiar rather. That's the wrong word. I just seem to almost vaguely recognize them and love the animes I've watched.
素性を明かすことは他人を信用する道につながる。まずは俺から名乗るとしよう。俺は指導スバル、警部補だ。
Okay, I mean, I guess a detective would be a good person to have in this situation. But we can't do much.
警部補？
Why don't you just arrest the pig? I guess you can.
当然だ。この通り警察手帳もある。
Him and his gamer glasses.
へえ、すごい。本物初めて見たよ。
Yeah, it's kind of weird. The lip sync is kind of weird. What's a detective doing at an amusement park?
非番でその格好はねえわな。警備か何かってところか？
ああ、オープニングイベントの警備を指揮していた。
おいおい、それじゃあ何か？こんな状況を招いた元凶が勇者様の一味なのかよ。
You know, this guy, the big muscle guy, by the way, kind of reminds me of another character. In like another game? How was it? I can't remember his name. But it was like the Edgeworth investigation games, you know? The spin-off series to the Phoenix Wright games for the DS. It was like, ironically, the detective, you know? What's his name? His theme song was very memorable. Anyway, he's just glaring. I guess he's not the good cop. He's not the good cop.
まあまあ、ここで私たちが争っても何も始まりません。落ち着いていきましょう。
And I can be honest, this guy just, I mean, it's probably because of his, you know, crystal ball. But this guy just reminds me of another character in Danganronpa with a similar occupation. But, you know, obviously this one's way cooler. You know, it's like, he doesn't have weird hair.
君まろと申します。職業はご覧の通り占い師です。
Well, that's a nice change of pace. He seems like he's pretty nice, if a little weird. And he really does look like a fortune teller, does he?
ではお次はあなたですね。
Now, this guy looks like he's... Like, why is he wearing a straitjacket? That's kind of weird. Did he not hear? I think it's your turn. What's your name?
ネオシコータ。無職。
Yes, neat.
うわ、暗。
Huh. I guess he doesn't talk much. But this kid, I feel like I've seen his face somewhere before.
次は僕の番だけど、僕は名乗らなくてもわかるよね。テレビで見たことあるでしょ？
I still don't know why the lip sync is weird for this character. Okay, I just have to deal with it, I don't know.
申し訳ありません。私も世俗には少々疎くて。
テレビに興味がない。
You don't watch TV? I mean, that's, yeah. I don't watch TV all that much recently.
ああ、見たような気はするんだが、悪いな。この先必要ないと判断した知識は頭から抜け。
Why do you look so evil? This guy looks just evil. Why is he so evil?
嘘でしょ？一人も？うわ、ショック。少年時代ジュニア知らないの？一応今日のイベントにもゲストで招かれてた芸能人なんだけどな。
Of course I remember. Or of course I remember, rather. That's the wrong tone. The Junior Junior Boys was a boy band that was super popular, mostly of girls. Okay. All the members were really cute, and a bunch of my classmates were fans. Boy bands aren't really my thing, you know? That explains why he looked familiar, though. Okay, he's a pop
お
idol.
じさん世代には知名度が低いんだな。もっと頑張ろうっと。
Do you need to appeal to old guys? I don't know if you do.
というわけで、若さとは改めてよろしく。
I think that old guy's comment might have made things a bit awkward here, but this kid's definitely got the face of a star. You know, like a beauty
よ
mark.
し。そんじゃ次は俺だな。俺は御手嵐流星。職業はホストだ。
Escort. Is it Ellen like a host club? Is what he means, maybe? A what?
なあ。銀座のユリシーズって店でナンバーワンを張ってる。姉ちゃんも俺の店に来ればいつでも最高の夢を見せてやるぞ。
Just sounds more creepy in English. Because there's no context. Because I mean, I don't think host clubs are all that popular outside of Japan. Well, maybe. But especially, you know, in Western society, there's no host clubs or hostess clubs. Or at least an equivalent of that. Just makes him sound like a male prostitute. But I don't think that's it. That's not what he's getting at. I think he said host in Japanese. Anyway. Ah ha ha ha. He doesn't really look like an escort, but the way he talks. Or maybe he is? I don't know.
に占い師、無職、アイドルときて、ホストまでいるのか。なんとまあ、見事にバラバラな面々だな。
おい、そういうあんたは何者なんだよ。人に名乗らせておきながら自分はだんまりって、そりゃフェアじゃねえんじゃねえか。
ああ、失礼。確かに情報はギブアンドテイクが基本だな。俺は調べ歩む。フリーのライターだ。ここにはオープニングイベントの取材で来ていたんだが。まあ、
You're a journalist. What happened to your face? I see. You see the weird bandages on his head. It's just there. It has a scar for some reason. He sighed.
さて、最後はあなたですね。
こんな得体の知れないゲームに自ら参加した。
Oh, yes, I'm the mastermind. I put you all here to force you to romance me. Now, suspicious. I'm Saki Inafune. I'm a high school student. Amazing.
予想はしてたが、本当に高校生かよ。ただの学生がどうしてこんなゲームに立候補なんてしたんだ？
To stop the bombs, of course, and to rescue the hostages. After I spoke, they all fell silent.
なんというか、若いな。
信じられないよ。僕だったら速攻で逃げる。っていうか、正直今も帰りたい気持ちでいっぱい。
帰っていいのなら僕も疲れた。
つうかワルドブーの野郎はどうしたんだよ。この像を蹴飛ばしはまた出てくるか？
おい、
What is this music?
あれを魚でするような行動は慎め。人質の安否が不明なうちはむやみに動くな。
さすが刑事様は言うことが違うな。てめえよりも他人の心配か。
White Knight. Interesting usage because that's not usually how you would use it on the internet.
命を優先するのは当然のことだ。警察官としても人としても。
確かに人質の方たちのことは気になりますね。そうだ、私の水晶で占ってみますか。
悪いが、俺は非科学的なものは信じない。
そうですか。それは残念です。
早く帰りたい。
This is disappointing. None of these guys really feel like hero material. But I guess none of them chose to be here, so I can't really blame them for being upset. I'm just worried about whether or not we can pull this off. Oh, he's back.
沈黙も深まったようですし、そろそろ移動してもらいましょうかね。それでは横に従ってワルトブタワーへお進みください。そこで今回のルールをお渡しします。
I hadn't noticed until that moment that one of the people in the black unitards had appeared next to us. There was no question, he was the piglet.
もったいぶりやがってめんどくせえな。ここでいやいいだろう。
まあまあ見たらしさ。状況が状況ですし、今は彼の言う通り。
早く中へどうぞ。時間は有限。無駄に過ごすことは命がけになりますよ。
なんだと。それはどういう意味だ。
ちなみに無駄話も私は忘れしません。
とりあえず従った方がいいんじゃない？ここでぼーっとしてても進まなそうだしさ。
そうだな。まずはタワーの中に入ろう。情報は足で稼げってな。
But just what kind of game is he going to make us play? Maybe like a puzzle game? I actually don't know what the gameplay is like. Is it like traditional puzzle or is it like something else? We followed the piglet inside the castle Count Hogstein had indicated. It wasn't long before it opened up into a magnificent room that looked like a banquet hall from a period drama. Zetsubo? They're gonna say Zetsubo in the Japanese dub. You! Oh my.
なんだよあいつ。豚のくせして玉座なんかに腰掛けやがって。ふざけてんな。
おい、聞こえるぞ。人質の身に何かあったらどうする？
検討は結構ですが、まずはこのゲーム7つのルールを説明させてください。
階段の下に何やら怪しげなものが置かれておりますね。
青い布がかけられているが、箱のような形をしているな。
The box looked like it was about twice as tall as the piglet standing at attention next to it. I was in there. This didn't feel good. I have a bad feeling.
ルールを説明するんじゃないのか。
皆様には一日一つ命をかけてアトラクションに挑んでもらいます。それがゲームです。さて、それでまず一つ目のルール。ゲームのタイムリミットは7時間です。
はあ ?7 時間ぽっちだと？
そして2つ目のルールはこの私に決して手を出さないこと。当然私の配下でもありここに手を出すのも NG です。
次のルールは
3つ目のルールは当たり前のことですが、危険に巻き込まれても自己責任だということ。後でハンコもついてもらいますからね。
Ah, yes, of course. Despite the fact that, you know, this criminal is supposedly taking the hostages of everyone in the park, it's gotta be legal.
せこいな。
It's all according to the law.
4つ目はゲームのクリアに失敗するとアトラクションは問答のようで爆破されますのでお力で。
卑怯な。
そして5つ目のルールは外部との連絡は禁止いたします。絶対禁止。
Verboten. A lot of rules.
連絡禁止？どうしよう。スケジュールに穴が開いちゃうよ。
それをすればご愁傷様。こんな場所に遊びに来てしまったばかりにお気の毒。
Boy. What a jerk.
で、次は3つ目のルールですが、外部への脱出も禁止します。
Ugh.
そして7つ目、もしルールを破ったら人質は死亡します。
Oh no. As soon as he finished talking, Count Hogstein began to laugh, his stomach jiggling obscenely. How can he laugh about killing people? He's awful. I frowned, trying to think of something to say when... yes, of course. It's always the trope, isn't it? Like, one of the guys will always, especially the big one, will always just immediately try to attack.
よせ、感情に流されるままに行動するのは愚かな人間のすることだ。うっせえ、俺はあいつのこと一発殴ってやんねえと気が済まねえんだ。
Shido was doing his best to hold Mitarashi back, but I wasn't sure how long he'd last. You need to calm down. If you get mad, you're just doing what he wants.
そうですよ。ルールには悪の分に手を出すなとありました。破れば人質の身が危うくなります。
How about we simply kill the hostages ourselves? Then we don't have to worry about them, right? He swore and shook off Shido, slamming his fist into a nearby pillar. Manly pillar punch.
お利口さんが混じっていて安心しました。
With a slimy smile, he clapped his hands. At a signal, the piglets took hold of the blue cloth. It fell away from the box, revealing... What I thought was a box was actually a giant cage, and inside of it was my uncle and the park management. It was a bigger box than I thought. And in my head, it was like a small box, but actually, it's probably very big.
なるほどな。いつでも人質を始末できるぞというあいつのご挨拶か。
その通り、悪く思わないでくださいね。あなた方がルールを守りさえしてくれれば、私はひどいことはしません。あんなでかい鉄器を落とすような真似はね。
Metal ball? As I spoke, he grinned and looked up toward the ceiling. I followed his gaze. It's a literal giant ball.
檻の上に鉄球が。
No. It was all too clear what Count Hogstein's message was. That's... あれは...
あんなものが落ちてきたらみんなぺしゃんこだな。
Will all of them die? Is the ball big enough? There's a little bit of space, right? Because if it's like falling into a cube, it'll stay in the corner maybe. It was what we were all thinking, even if I've been too afraid to say it.
抵抗できない相手に向かってなんて卑怯な。
もし私に手を出していたら、あれが落ちてきて、危ないところでしたね。
He was so smug. I just want to punch him in that massive jiggly gut every time he opened his mouth.
とにかくあなた方には7つのルールを守った上でアトラクションのクリアを目指してもらいます。
I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember all those rules. There's too many rules. Keep it short. Like maybe 2 or 3.
皆さんで力を合わせてそれを解いて進んでください。
So I guess the 7th rule is like, if you break the rules, then we kill the hostages. So really, it's 6 rules.
クリアできなかったらアトラクションは爆破か。
言うの忘れておりましたが、アトラクションの爆破と同時にあなた方も吹っ飛んじゃいますのでお気をつけください。
なんだって？
アトラクションをクリアできないってことはアトラクションから脱出できないってことですよ。
He was talking about killing people, about killing us. How could he be so casual? Maybe he likes killing people, huh? I won't let him get away with this. Everyone else was staring at the arrogant pig, probably thinking the same thing I was. Everyone except for Wakasa.
もうなんなんだよ。 どうして僕がこんなゲームに参加しなくちゃなんないんだよ。
He slumped to the ground, holding his head. I'd volunteered to play Hogstein's sick game, but Wakasa hadn't. None of them had. I guess they're victims too. I felt a cold shiver run down my spine. There was no guarantee one of these men wouldn't try to escape. I knew my uncle, but apart from that, the hostages were complete strangers to all of us. I'm really not sure about these guys. I don't know anything about them. Yes, they're all suspicious. No, I have to trust them. We're going to be working together for 7 days. If I don't trust them, all the work that went into their, like, you know, character models and voice acting would be for naught. I shook my head. We'd never be able to win Hogstein's games unless we trusted each other. The characters in Uncle Keiichi's games always talked about how important it was to believe in other people. I leveled a glare at the pig. There was no way I was going to lose.
さて、ルールの説明も一通り終わったので、そろそろ本日のゲームを始めましょうか。
ようやくおいでなすったか。
今日のゲームの舞台は RPG ワイルドとなります。さあ、皆さん、とっとと移動してくださいね。
RPG? Wow. I'm playing like a 100-hour RPG, you know? Gotta beat Final Fantasy like 7 in 1 day in order to save everyone, right? So that's gonna be hard. I mean, there is like, well, when you think about it, there are speedruns of RPGs where people do exactly that. Like they beat a game within like a day. Another piglet appeared to guide us, and we set off for the RPG attraction Hogstein had indicated. Like, for example, a Persona 3 speedrun. That's like a real thing. Before the opening, my uncle had told me that the park was divided into 7 different themed areas. Now let me just save, just real quick, just in case. Never know the game. So he's talking about the story is all about exploding things. I don't know if the game itself will explode and crash. It already happened once. Let's see. 7 different areas. Each area has a main attraction that represented a theme. How convenient there's like 7 areas and you gotta beat 7 games, I guess. Okay. I glanced around as I walked, trying to compare what I was seeing to what I remembered about the park's layout. No one spoke, and our footsteps were heavy and slow. Everyone's mind was on what the pig had told us. Whatever. Right now I need to concentrate and figure out how to beat these games. I was glaring so hard at the back of the piglet's head that I didn't hear Shido start talking. Shido.
これから行われるゲームとやらのクリアにこの7人の命がかかっているということか。
んなことさっきあの豚が言っただろ。一回言われればわかるっての。
まあ確かにそうだが、今は状況を整理する必要がある。それにこのランドの詳しい情報が必要だ。
Well, I know a little bit about it. I explained to them what I'd been thinking earlier. So the main attraction in the RPG part of the park is probably... Samurai Fantasy 7. It really is Final Fantasy 7.
お前、やけに詳しいじゃねえか。
別に、たまたまだたまたま。
They're all gamers. That seems like a weird response, but whatever. Shido frowned at Mitorashi, then turned to me. Yes?
お前が詳しいのも、やつと同じくたまたまなのか。
Yes, you see, I'm a real gamer, can't you tell? What? No, well, I'm related to someone who works for the park.
関係者。それではもしや、先ほどの檻の中にいらしたのでは。
Yeah, they were.
なるほど。それでガテンが言った。身内を救うために、お前は女だてらにこんな危険なことに首を突っ込んだのか。
What do you mean, even though you're a girl? Yeah, I guess.
それは。 胸中お差しいたします。
I don't know. I'm gonna stop complaining about it, but sometimes the lip sync, for some reason, is a little bit off. I don't know, like a weird glitch. Anyway, Urabe squeezed my hand reassuringly and gave me a somber bow. Maybe I should have mentioned my uncle earlier. Then they might have been more willing to help me. I thanked him and let go of his hand.
まあ、とにかく今、俺たちはその武士道なんとかというアトラクションに向かっているんだな。
武士道ファンタジー7は妖怪の主ヌラリヒョンに支配された江戸の国を取り戻すために
I believe in Japanese they say Bushido Fantasy 7. Bushido.
ヌラリヒョンが君臨する大江戸城を目指して武士が仲間と共に旅をする RPG。
ほう、お前さんやけに詳しいな。元になったゲームを知ってるのか？
あ、ゲーム好きなんだ。今日だって会場で限定の DLC が配布されるって言うから来た。
Oh, so that's why he knows about it. Mitarashi frowned.
あ DLC?
You know about
なんだそりゃ。
Samurai Fantasy 7, but you don't know what DLC is?
ダウンロードコンテンツのことだよ。
うん。とにかくこれで元ネタの内容は大体つかめた。
Or maybe he's a retro gamer, you know? DLC never really existed back in my day. We just had cartridges,
それが一
CDs.
体どんなアトラクションになってるかだな。
ワルドブーのことです。考えもつかないような罠を仕掛けているに違いありませんね。
だろうな。
Shirabe sighed and shifted the cigarette in his... Wait, that's not a cigarette. It's a snack? Is it Pocky? So you like sweets? Huh, I never would have guessed. I totally thought that was a cigarette. For some reason, I found my eyes drawn to it. It was almost hypnotic. I must get the Pocky. Do the Pocky kiss or
この
whatever.
目で確かめるしかないようだな。
That'd be weird. Yeah. If all of this hadn't happened, what would Samurai Fantasy 7 have been like? I felt sad. I had a feeling Uncle Kenji did too. It's Samurai Fantasy 7! The gate looked like one from a European castle, but the towers that rose up behind it looked Japanese. It could have come across as cheesy and contrived, but I thought it was a nice touch. Really?
と、それより見ろよ、あそこ。
Huh? I turned to look.
ワルドブーの像。
It was just like the statue we see in the plaza.
おそらくあのモニターを通じてまた奴が何か言ってくるだろう。
そうでしょうね。
もうやだよ。帰りたいよ。
Just as Wakasa began to moan, Count Hogstein appeared on the screen.
武士道ファンタジー7の世界へ。皆さんにはこれからこの江戸の国を救するヌラリヒョンを倒すために大江戸城の中に踏み込んでもらいます。もうお分かりと思いますが、当然命がけですよ。
His disgusting voice echoed through the empty air. Wakasa had covered his ears and shut his eyes tight. Just looking at him made me feel a little helpless and scared. I volunteered for this, I have to face the consequences. Shido gave me a small nod.
おい、若さとは。お前の気持ちもわかるが、ここはもう進むしかない。立て、彼女も気丈に振る舞っているじゃないか。
He slowly stood back up, but his face was pale, and he looked ready to collapse at any moment. Maybe he should stay out here. I don't remember there being a rule about all 7 of us having to go into the attraction.
確かにそうだな。そんなにビビってるやつを連れてっても足手まといなだけだろ。
俺も同感だ。そんな人間がいると仲間の士気が下がるだけだ。
それにこれから先のことを考えたら戦力は温存しておくのが上等だろうな。考えたくはないが、万が一このアトラクションを失敗したら誰が人質を助ける。
そうとなると全員でアトラクションに入るってのもバカバカしいぜ。一つのアトラクションごとに1人か2人でいいだろう。
じゃあ僕はここで。
But before he could even finish his sentence, Hogstein's voice rang out again. Okay.
例えば皆さん参加を消されてアトラクションだけ爆破してもつまらないでしょ。それに7人で力を合わせなければアリーナなんてとてもとても。
Huh. There's something about what he'd said that triggered a few new feelings of apprehension. I glanced over at the others to see them staring silently at the screen.
仕方ないな。全員で行くぞ。
分かったよ。行けばいいんだろ。
Hogstein nodded sanctimoniously. Sanctimonious? That's a word I've never seen in my life. The person in black turned to us and gestured. Ah, it seems like he's trying to say something.
なんとなくだけど、ついてこいって言ってる気がする。
The piglet nodded earnestly.
なんだ、こいつら喋れないのか。
そんなことはどうでもいい。行くぞ。
Shido strode off toward the castle without waiting for the rest of us to follow. I trotted along behind him, and the others slowly followed suit. As we got close, the castle's gates began to grind open.
おい、ここはどんなアトラクションなんだ。
It didn't speak, just twitched around like a worm in a frying pan.
さっぱりわからんな。ここに来るまでにも何人か見かけたが、黒子ってのはみんなこうなのか。
I'm not sure. Was it possible Count Hogstein had forbidden them from talking?
おいみんな、腕時計は持っているか。
We all nodded, and each held up a watch or a cell phone, anything with time on it. I feel like most people just have cell phones these
時計を
days.
持っているやつは時間を覚えておけ。
I still have a watch.
現在12時ジャスト。
I just like having a watch. I don't know. I feel naked without a watch for some reason, because I've always worn one for a long time. Let's see, and we've got 7 hours left.
制限時間に注意して行動しなければなりませんね。
ああ、みんなも気をつけてくれ。
Will do. Excuse. Drink some water. I guess my throat's a little dry from reading all this dialogue. After all, if we didn't stay alert, in 7 hours we'd be dead. Oh no. We walked through the gate and up to the castle. Up close, the towers looked even taller. The piglet gestured for us to go in. Inside was a long hallway that looked like a set from a period movie. I could just see a room at the end of it.
ここを進むようですね。
Yeah, I think you're right. We moved down the hallway slowly and carefully until we reached the door at the end and stepped into the room.
おやおや、これは大層な部屋ですね。
Let me just make a save. Because we're probably gonna do some gameplay now. I don't know. Again, I don't know what the gameplay is like. Is it like, I don't know. Is it just like point and click, or I don't know. We'll see. Just like the outside of the castle, the interior was also an odd mix of east and west. This particular room seemed to have a stronger European influence. In the center was a statue of a creepy-looking animal, a lion maybe? There's a large device with several panels next to the statue. Each panel had a silhouette of a person on it. The doors to the left and right had chains bolted across them. Obviously, we weren't going out that way anytime soon. This room is creepy. I sure hope we're not gonna get locked in here or something. Yes, you are. No sooner were the words out of my mouth than the door swung shut behind us.
くそ、鍵をかけられた。
どうしよう。本当に閉じ込められちゃったよ。
I meant it as a joke, but suddenly being trapped in the room with that statue didn't seem so funny. Still, standing around worrying about it was only gonna waste time. If you want to get out of here, then we're gonna have to solve this puzzle. Every bit of time was precious. I started to look around the room.
おいお前、勝手な行動は慎め。まずはどうするかを慎重に考えてからだ。
おいおい、ちんたらやってたらどんどん時間が過ぎるだけだぜ。
Don't worry, I'll be fine. I won't touch anything. I guess you don't get to be a police detective without being methodical. We do need to be cautious, but Mitarashi's right too. If we don't move quickly, we're gonna be in bad shape. I started moving around the room, examining things, and before long the others started to do the same. That statue and the panels next to it both seemed pretty suspicious. I mumbled to myself and walked toward the statue. But suddenly I heard a mechanical voice begin to speak. What's a new way? What's a new way?
あの像のことだ。
He raised a hand to point at the thing in the center of the room. Oh, so a Nue is an animal? I thought it was a lion or something at first, but I looked closer, I could see that wasn't even close.
ヌエは確か日本に伝わる伝説の生き物です。
Wow, that's pretty cool.
なんでそんな像がここに置かれてんだ？
With all our eyes on the Nue, something that looked sort of like smoke began to spill out of its mouth. I guess poison. What the heck is this?
みんな、そいつから離れよ。
His voice was slightly muffled by the handkerchief he suddenly pressed over his mouth and nose. The rest of us all clasped whatever we had to our own faces.
これってもしかして毒ガスなんじゃないの？
ああ、おそらく有毒ガスだな。
By now, the stuff pouring out of his mouth was purple. Clearly, it wasn't ordinary smoke. Smoke would have risen up, but this was slowly spraying out over the floor.
なるほど。これがヌエの毒ってわけか。うてざればヌエの毒にて死すべし。と。
Ayumu frowned and rubbed a hand across his rough beard.
とりあえず、下手に動かない方がいい。 煙の逃げ場がないからな。動けば動くほどガスが広がる速度を速める可能性がある。
どうしよう。このままじゃ死んじゃうよ。
叫ぶな。空気を乱すんじゃない。それこそ士気が早まるだけだ。
Now let's just calm down. We still got plenty of time before the gas. We've got plenty of time before the gas kills us all.
ああ、そうだ。それまでに謎を解くぞ。
いちいちビビりやがって。貴重な酸素が減るだろうが。
なんで なんでみんなそんなに落ち着いてられるんだよ。
He stopped muffling his voice. He's just shouting even more. Wakasa, now! He shot across the room to the door we'd come in through and began to furiously twist the handle. It's locked, you idiot.
おい、動くなら空気をかき混ぜないようにそっと動けと言っているだろう。
そんなこと知るか。誰か外にいるんだろ。開けろ、開けろよ。
He had gone into a state of total panic, frantically pulling on a door that clearly wasn't going to open.
おいてめえ、人の話聞いてんのか。空気がなくなるっつってんだろ。ああ。
Wait. I gestured desperately to Mitarashi to calm down and walked as slowly and carefully as I could over to Wakasa. Hey, Wakasa, listen to me. We didn't have any time to waste, but I couldn't just leave him in a panic either. And I slapped him across the face. You have to calm down, we can get out of here. We just have to solve the puzzle.
そうだ、絶対に大丈夫だ。
When had he... As I was wondering how he'd move so quietly, Shido reached out to take hold of Wakasa's arm.
本当だな。
Urabe spoke up.
ほら、見てください。ガスの吹き出る速度は意外と緩やかですので、まだ時間はあります。焦りは禁物です。
Is that how it works? I mean, depending on the gas, I guess. If it's like denser than oxygen, I guess it stays on the ground. I saw his hand loosen and slide off the doorknob. Shido was awfully reassuring. Then again, he was a police officer, and of all the people there, he seemed the most reliable. When he said things would be alright, you believed him. And Urabe made a good point too. Slowly and carefully, we made our way back to the statue. The thing that voice said earlier sounded like a hint. Do any of you know what it might mean?
己が宿命に目覚め魔性のあやかしヌエを打つべし打てざればヌエの毒に徹しすべし
打てざれば以下の言葉の意味はそのままですから、私たちはまず己が宿命に目覚めの意味を考えるべきでしょうか。
ひとまず周囲を調べて情報を集めるべきだろうな。
Yeah, we don't have a lot of time, so why don't we split up? Yeah, split up, gang.
めんどくせえ。
Let me think. How do we want to split up? Okay. There's a decision here, so I assume this is important. Can I like save? Yeah. This might like branch off the story and everything, sort of. I don't know. I imagine if we're gonna play the same attractions though in the main story itself, there's not much of a branch there. So probably this affects maybe like, you know, who you romance at the end. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna like do every single ending, because I think this game has like 14 different endings or whatever. But really it's more like 7 endings, because like half of those endings are just bad ends, you know, of the characters. So really it's just 7 endings, you know, when you think about it. But I don't know if I'm gonna do all of the endings. We'll see, I guess, depending on how involved they are. And also whether or not I get invested in this game. I don't know. Anyway, so who do we choose? We can examine the panels, Shido, Wakasa, and Miyoshi. Or examine the statues, Shirabe, Mitarashi, and Urabe. I don't remember who's who, to be honest. Shido is the police guy. Wakasa is the pop idol. Who's Miyoshi again? I don't remember seeing that name. Yeah, probably when they introduced themselves in the beginning, but I don't remember now. Mitarashi is the muscle guy. Urabe is the fortune teller, right? I assume Shirabe and Miyoshi. I don't remember who they are. Can I like... Is there a way to look? Check infection levels. Okay, you can look at the names right here. Everyone is blue. So Miyoshi is the Hikikomori. Well, not really Hikikomori. He was just unemployed, so probably just neat, I guess. And Shirabe is the journalist. Okay. None of it matters. Sure. Let's stick with the panels. Why not? How about me, Shido, Wakasan, Miyoshi? Look at those panels.
わかったがなんで君が決めているんだ
Because I'm the main protagonist. Duh.
それにどうしてこういう組み合わせなわけ？
Huh? What? Are they bad?
いや別に構いはしないが
なんでもいいだろんなもんは。とにかく時間がねえ。とっとと行こうぜ。
Then let's get going. And with that, we split up. Shido, Wakasa, Miyoshi, and I headed toward the panels.
この人型のシルエットは何だろうか。見たところ格闘技か何かの表示かと思えるが
I guess they're fantasy classes, sort of. Like I see like archer, samurai, fighter, I guess? I don't know, monk? This one's meditating, so I don't know. I took a closer look at the panels. Each one had a human-looking silhouette. One panel was lit up. The one going Super Saiyan. Yeah, they look like people. One of them has a sword. This one has a bow. Miyoshi suddenly spoke up.
そのカードの下にそれぞれ名前が振ってある。
あ、本当だ。武士、格闘家、呪術師？
特に格闘技にこだわっているというわけではないのか。
Right, I wouldn't really call a mage a fighter. I was trying to figure out what it meant when Miyoshi spoke. Is it Miyoshi? I think it's Miyoshi.
職業
Miyoshi.
だと思う。
Miyoshi. Classes? Wakasa piped up.
もしかして RPG とかに出てくるやつ？
そうだ。
Right, of course. I get it now. You know, it's very condescending, I feel like, this game. They assume we don't know what RPGs are at all. I punched my hand in victory. The panels had to be for character classes, just like he said. But only one of them is lit up.
光ってるのは格闘家のカードだね。
Why only that one? There had to be some sort of meaning to it.
おい目押しコータ、お前はこのアトラクションの元になっているゲームに詳しいんだったな。
ああ、一通りはプレイした。
内容をざっくりでいいので教えてほしい。
It's gonna be hard to summarize the entire RPG.
武士道ファンタジー7は武士である主人公が旅をする中で様々な者たちと出会い、最終的に7人パーティーになるんだ。
A party of 7? That must be what the panels are. I realized I was yelling and quickly shut my mouth, but Shido nodded thoughtfully.
おそらくそれで間違いないだろう。
7人の勇者か。
でもその7人の勇者の中で格闘家のキャラだけが光ってる意味は分かんないよ。
ひとまず一旦像を調べていたチームと合流して情報を整理しよう。